Hey all, so just drinking some coffee and hope that you're finding new things in this quarantine to be grateful for and enjoy because this is a strange time. I know that if you're like me, you're missing quite a few things during this time. You're missing that community that you're used to having, being able to eat in a restaurant or sit in a coffee shop or being able to just go and visit and sit closely with your closest friends or being able to visit and spend really deep quality time in person with your best friend, you're missing all of those things. And it's completely normal to have those feelings. And so I just want to validate that for you and normalize it that everyone's feeling those feelings. And I just want to encourage you to take the time to grieve and take the time to journal or to cry about it and to just say, this really sucks, because it does. And it's totally normal for you to feel that, but don't hold it inside because it's really not going to do you any good or do anyone you're living with any good at all. This is a strange time, and there's really not a whole lot else that I can say about that. Today, I just wanted to come into your inbox and I wanted to share with you again about this practice of solitude. So, for those of you who are joining me in this time to practice solitude, to practice sitting still in the presence of the Lord, learning His heart and asking Him what He wants us to know about our own hearts and what He wants us to do in this time, how He wants us to spend our time and spend our lives. Thank you, and I hope that this has been a fruitful, and I hope it's been a very nurturing time for you, and I hope that you've enjoyed it and you have learned quite a bit in this process. I just wanted us to kind of come to this place of remembering, and I wanted to remind us with the simple question of why solitude? Why participate in solitude? Why are we doing this? And so I can answer that through scripture, right? And so in Mark 3, verses 14 to 15, Jesus is calling His apostles. He's calling them into ministry. He's calling them His friends into this community with Him. And really, He's inviting them into a deeper life with Him. And he shows us two parts to what this calling looked like for His disciples. And we are also His friends who He's calling into this deep life as disciples. And that call reaches out to us as well. And so He says this, so in Mark, He says, He appointed 12 and called them apostles. He appointed them to be with Him, to be sent out to preach and to have authority to throw out demons. So the disciples are to go out and they are to preach. They are to serve God in ministry. They are also to drive out demons. And that's their calling. That's what they are called to do. But before they go out, they are called to be with the Lord. They are called to be with Him. That is their first and their highest appointment, is to just be present with Jesus. And that is how we learn from Him, right? We are able to be more Christ-like. We are able to be more like God when we're spending time with Him, imitating Him when we're spending time really soaking up that time with Him. And we're able to have that wisdom and to discern what we are to do and what kind of people we are to be like, because we are giving ourselves this time to listen and to speak and to just be. And so Lisa TerKeurst, she talks about this passage. She talks about what it means to dwell and abide with the Lord first, and how that is our first calling, and how that calling leads us into our second calling, which is to go out into the world and to make disciples, to make His name known, and to serve God in everywhere we go and in everything that we do. And so she says that when we abide, delight, or dwell in Him, He then places within us the desires that line up with His best desire for us. And so as we delight in His presence and we spend this time with Him, we're able to align our hearts with what is best for our lives, which what is the best way for us to live and how we can do that. And so this is what solitude is all about. How why solitude is answered is just the idea that this is our calling. This is how we are to live and what we're to do, and to just remember that God is standing with us, preparing the way ahead for us. He knows the way. He knows what tasks we need to uphold for each day. He knows what ministry we need to be a part of. But we can't know that if we're not spending time with Him. We can't know that if we're not listening and actually asking the Lord, what is it that you want me to do? How is it that you want me to live my life? And so we first need to focus on His loving presence, to fix our eyes on Him, and to allow our hearts to align with the intents and purpose of His heart. Because His heart is good, and He is good, and He is preparing us for good. And so this week, whether you are sitting in 5, 7, or 10 minutes of solitude, I want you to remember this. I want you to remember that the why is that we spend time with God to know where to go, to know how to serve Him, to know how to live our life, because we're seeking His direction in solitude, but we're also seeking discernment and wisdom, and really we're seeking empowerment, because whatever God asks us to do in the world, it's through spending time with Him that we become empowered to go and do it. He's not going to ask you to do something that He's not going to equip you for, but you can't go out and do it without empowering yourself in His presence. And so this week, I want you to, again, continue doing what you're doing. But maybe this week, I want to encourage you to just sit with that question of, what is it, Lord, that you want me to do? What is it, Lord, how is it, Lord, that you want me to live my life during this time, during this day, during this week? What are you calling me to do? Or maybe just simply, Lord, what is it you want to speak to me? And every day the answer is going to be different, but every day He's going to be faithful to lead you and guide you and to show you the way. So I just thought I would encourage you with this, because I think that it can be kind of hard when you are in the midst of any spiritual discipline, or really any discipline in life. You can be like, why am I even doing this? And so I wanted to remind you of why solitude. And so I hope that this is helpful. I hope this practice is drawing you deeper and deeper into the presence of the Lord, and you're seeking His heart in ways that you have never done before, but it is enriching for you, and it is drawing you in a way that you needed, even though you probably didn't know that you needed it. So I thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week.